KTBS 3 News continues.
Tort reform, the big issue in Baton Rouge a year ago, was supposed to make your car insurance payments lower, but a lot of people tell us that really hasn't happened. So 1 year later, what went wrong? Here's Jeff Bimfor with tonight's Architect's in-depth report.
A year later, after tort reform, our car insurance rates are higher.
So there's no doubt that good signs are coming.
Two diametrically opposing views of how tort reform is working 1 year later.
We were promised over and over again that tort reform would lead to lower car insurance rates. We were promised a 10 to 25% rate cut. We were promised that within a year of the bill passing, we would see rates go down. And so far, none of that has come to pass, and actually our rates have gone up.
Eric Hall of Real Reform Louisiana is leading the charge against tort reform.
Because tort reform just isn't what we need to lower auto insurance rates.
Stephen Wagaspak, the president of the powerful Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, disagrees. He says loggers and truckers are seeing lowered rates, rates overall are flattening, and new underwriters are moving into Louisiana. But the heart of the bill hasn't even taken effect yet.
The Supreme Court of Louisiana put a 1-year ban on jury trials because of COVID. So the mainstay, the centerpiece of the bill, which was the jury trial that was going to bring in all of this transparency and evidence into the courtroom, hasn't even happened yet.
Wagaspak also cites the collateral source section of tort reform, designed to squeeze out the fake profits generated by big billboard attorneys.
The billboard guys who have made a lot of money off of the backs of drivers in the state for a long time, they're feeling the heat. And so they're putting a lot of money into this dark money group, and they've hired this young man to kind of attack business leaders, attack us, attack elected officials. It doesn't faze us. All it tells us is we're on the right track.
Eric Hall didn't forget Wag's promise that if rates weren't down across the board 1 year later, he'd protest with the torch.
Stephen Wagaspak, the head of Lobby, went so far as to promise exactly 1 year ago today that if insurance rates weren't lower in 1 year from June 17th, 2020, so today, then he would go to the Capitol with a tiki torch and protest.
Hull turned the tables, showing up at Lobby headquarters carrying tiki torches. He took them inside, but had to settle for leaving them with a receptionist.
I never got to Wags, and I didn't expect to see him. There was obviously a little bit of a comedic element to it.
But nobody's laughing when it comes to getting auto insurance rates lowered in Louisiana. And Wagaspak maintains that until the court systems are running full speed and the system catches up, the full effect of tort reform won't be felt.
Look, this is not about good versus evil or trial lawyers versus business. This is about lowering rates for drivers all across this state.
Something Hall says will never happen by relying on tort reform.
I don't think you'll ever hear the big corporate lobbyists or the insurance industry admit that tort reform was never going to lower rates.
Wagaspak points out a federal investigation taking place in New Orleans in which he says a group of attorneys is forging fake car wrecks because the profit's so good, adding it's going on all over Louisiana, driving up rates. Meanwhile, Hall says momentum will continue to build for different reform that will hold insurance companies accountable and hopefully lower our rates.